Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I have a movie review for you today. I want to review an old movie from 2006, which I never saw, and I saw it because it went on Netflix called Nacho Libre. And this is actually a movie that, along with Paramount, Nickelodeon Films helped make. And Nickelodeon, I think MTV and Nickelodeon Films are one and the same, like along with VH1 and stuff like that. And along with after the review, I want to give you my personal history with Nickelodeon and Nickelodeon films too. Well, I'll let you know what Nickelodeon films I've seen in the theater. Well, no, well, what Nickelodeon films I've seen, and I'll give you my personal history from Nickelodeon, from when I was when I first started watching it. Uh, First of all, Nacho Libre. The longest time, I was always, I don't know, kind of on the fence about Jack Black. I liked him somewhat, and then I admired him more with movies like Bernie and stuff like that. I liked his older work. He was in Never-Ending Story back in the 80s. I don't know how exactly he was discovered. I remember he was in one of my a movie that came and went and did no business whatsoever. And I saw it on Cinemax. I was a big fan of it, called Airborne, back in '93. And he has a good role in that. And I remember it was on WB, and I watched it. I watched with my nephew, AJ, and he loved it. It's like a movie that has all the fads, like this kid from California coming to this school in Minnesota, and Jack Black's there, and he, I think it's a great movie that it was definitely overlooked. Came out in '93, and I think it played for maybe a week and was gone. Just like what was some of the Aspirin Extreme, I think that came and went too. But I didn't think it was a bad film either. Well, anyway, Nacho Libre came out. I know my dad and I weren't interested in it. My dad laughed at the part where he ate a little bit of soup when he spit it out. He always laughed at that. So I was thinking about that. I said maybe that would give me some hope with the movie. My dad passed away in 2015. And I haven't been watching WWE for a while. I tried to get into it again. I just can't get into it. So I thought something about pro wrestling, the Lucha Libre, the Spanish or Mexican style wrestling, might be interesting. And when I saw the movie on Netflix, I was surprised that Nickelodeon made that because I didn't know when I first started out. They had a real cool computerized intro of them showing scanning the ring rope that said Nickelodeon film. They had the bell ringing. And Paramount made it too, because Paramount does like the Nickelodeon MTV things. And it starts out with him at a Spanish monastery, which is also an orphanage. And that's one of the only problem I ever had with the show The Flying Nun. Now, I love The Flying Nun. I love Sally Field. Now, I was a big fan of the show, but I just never thought that the Spanish monastery was the best setting for a comedy. I thought it was a kind of a boring setting. And I think this was a boring setting too, but The Flying Nun was very entertaining. I like the fact she could fly and stuff like that. And that was I haven't seen a show in ages, though. I remember my great-great-grandmother we called Nunny. She used to watch that, and we watched that on Sunday afternoons, but that was back in, like, the 80s, And they showed it on, I was at Fort Bragg. They showed it on a UHF channel called Channel 40, where they had, like, old things. But, they showed them while I was at work, so I never got a chance to watch it. And they had showed some other things, like Hazel or something like that I'd never seen before. And the few shows I haven't seen. And they had Gidget on there. I watched Gidget once or twice. But that was a Sally Field show I'd never seen before. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. With Nacho Libre, he plays a cook in this orphanage. And he was never able to get fresh ingredients because they never gave him any money, so the food was always terrible. And then he put a little bit of chips on top of it, and that's the best he could do. And, there was this thing where he tried a little bit of this food, and the kids said, why don't we have a salad? And when he ate the food, he spit it out, and I thought it was kind of funny. And then eventually he had the desire to be like a luchador, a wrestler. And there was this one really famous wrestler on a movie called Ramses. And they portrayed him like Santos, like in the old... there used to be a bunch of Santos movies. I'd never seen him, and I've seen him like little clips on YouTube where he fights monsters and stuff like that. The closest I ever came to, I remember renting a movie called The Robot versus the Aztec Mummy. Now, who could resist a title like that when I was in the Army? I think it was when I got out of Germany, though, or when I got out of... maybe when I got out of Germany, I bought it on Good Times Home Video. And not really a spoiler, because you know they're going to fight, but they didn't fight the last 5 minutes, and then the tape screwed up. So I didn't even get to see the fight, which is kind of a bummer. And I said, the tape's screwed up now. My dad started laughing his ass off. I ended up taking it back, getting my money back, like $5 or whatever it was. This was back in the 80s. VHS tapes from Good Times Home Video. And the movie's only like an hour and 3 minutes. But anyways, with this film, you know, he wants to... this one guy robbed some of these chips that he got from this one place to help season the food. And the guy stole it from... And then he eventually goes back and he kind of beats it, and he convinced him to be like his tag team partner. And he becomes this... And they start making some money. And then he's able to get the kids some salad and fancier food and stuff, you know. And the movie is just so slow-paced. There's scenes where he has a Spanish accent, and then you see him going back to his regular accent. I mean, it's really... There's a couple funny parts, but it's so slow-moving. It's so late. It's almost anemic. It's really close to being boring, because it's only like 92 minutes. It seems like it's like 3 hours. I was very disappointed. I know it has somewhat of a following, but I mean, there's better Jack Black movies out there. I was not a fan of this film. I laughed a few times. I laughed when he ate the food and he spit it out. I laughed. There was a scene where he had to drink like this eagle egg, and he kind of gagged. That was kind of funny. I mean, it was a little bit, well, I would say pushing the envelope for Nickelodeon, but then they made the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies that were PG-13, so I can't really say it was pushing the envelope. But back then, in 2006, I guess it was, because they didn't do anything PG-13 rated, but it was right on the border between PG and PG-13. And like I said, I laughed a couple of times. I liked a lot of the wrestling scenes weren't very good either. I mean, they had they fought like these two little Tasmanian devil-looking dudes, and they made like this screeching sound, bat sound that freaked out my cat, because she usually sits, if she's not laying down, you know, let me pet her, she's usually on the other couch, and then her head went up, and every time they made that sound, and then she meowed and she came over to me. You know, I don't think she liked the sound they made. The only other parts I liked was, there was a part where, the two wrestling scenes I did like, I liked Battle Royale scene, which was very entertaining. And then he does like a little song before he ends up fighting the bad guy. He ends up fighting Ramsey, which ends up being the bad guy. Well, I mean, and that's not a spoiler. You know he's going to fight the big wrestler at the end of the movie. It's like a Rocky type parody type thing. There's a song he sings that was kind of funny. A little bit. I mean, but it was like a lot of the humor is very awkward and very weird. It just doesn't fit. It's not a convincing film. The last scene when he's fighting Ramsey was pretty good. I like that. But overall, I mean, I can't recommend the movie. I thought it was a real disappointment. I wonder why. I didn't see it for a long time. I know a lot of people were not big fans of it. It did pretty well at the box office, but I'm sure that people would like the movie. But I only give it like a very mild 4 out of 10. I was not a fan of Nacho Libre. But I'm glad I saw it, but I'd never want to see it again. So, I mean, as far as my history with Nickelodeon, I tell you the Nickelodeon movies I saw. I think Nickelodeon and MTV are one and the same. Let me go see where I found them at. Oh, that one guy directed, the guy directed Napoleon Dynamite, which was really good. Oh. But he directed Mastermind. I thought Mastermind was funnier than hell. I love Mastermind. That's a million times better than that Nacho Libre. See Mastermind instead. That movie really flopped. But I like that much better. Let's check out to see which Nickelodeon movies I've seen. I'll let you know if I liked them or not. The first one is from '96, Harriet the Spy. I remember buying that for my niece. I actually thought that was a very entertaining movie, and they don't show her name on there. I'm not a big Rosie O'Donnell fan, but she was okay in it. Also, Eartha Kitt, I believe, is in that. Yeah, Harry Despite is pretty entertaining. Now, Good Burger, I never watched Good Burger. I don't know if that's good or not. Rugrats movie, I never got into Rugrats. I didn't see it. Now, Snow Day, I thought Snow Day was very interesting. It's about what happens on a day, a snow day, when the school was closed. My dad said, that's the dumbest idea for a movie I ever seen. I ended up buying it, and I was going to watch niece and nephew watch. My dad was flat against it. He said, I don't want to see it. It's for kids. But, I mean, he was fighting me on all the way on that one, so... I don't know if she eventually saw it or not, but she would have liked the movie. My niece would have. I thought it was Snow Day was alright. I wish it would have been a little bit better, but that was a decent movie. A 7 out of 10 for that. Herod the Spy is probably maybe a 7.5 out of 10. That wasn't a bad show. Let's see what else we got. Rugrats in Paris movie, didn't see it. Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. I heard that was good. I never saw it. Clock Stoppers. I always wanted to see. Never saw it. Hey Arnold the movie, never saw. I never got into Hey Arnold. The Wild Thornberry movie, never got into that. I think Devo did a song called The Witch Doctor, which I hated. I love Devo, but I hated that song, their version of that song. It was terrible. Rugrats Go On, never see it. I never got into SpongeBob SquarePants, never saw that. Series of Unfortunate Events, I heard that was good, never seen it. Mad Hot Ballroom, never heard of that. Yours, Mine, and Ours, never heard of that. Barnyard, I think I heard that. Now, Charlotte's Web I saw in the theater. I love the live action Charlotte's Web. I remember the traditional Hanna-Barbera Charlotte's Web, which I really liked. Spiderwick Chronicles I really liked too. I saw it at the Doll Theater too with just AJ, I think. I saw the Charlotte's Web with both Taylor and AJ. Yeah, that was really good. Hotel for Dogs I didn't see. Angus Thongs and Perfect Snog, never heard of that. Imagine that, didn't see that. Last Stand Burner, didn't see that. Rango was the very last movie I saw with Taylor and AJ at the Dollar Theater. And I loved Rango. Rango was a great, great movie. Adventures of Tintin, where I saw, and I liked that too. I thought it was a lot of fun. Fun Side, never saw. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I did see, and I did enjoy it. Another SpongeBob, I've never seen that. Now, the newer Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, I thought it was pretty decent. Monstrucks, never saw it. And then they got some other ones listed. But I mean, that's like all way in the future. And as far as my history with Nickelodeon, as far as the channel is concerned, like I said, growing up, we lived in a country and it was really weird at the time because the cable companies were different then. I mean, you had to live like in a real town or something like that. In the country, the cable wouldn't go out into the country. Now they do, but at the time they didn't. In Edinburgh, they had cable, and in Albion, but like we were like in the middle between Edinburgh and Albion, like in more of the country, not like super rural, but rural enough. We didn't have cable. My dad always wanted it. We just had like the basic channels, and we could get. We had the rabbit ears, and we could basically get like Canadian TV. But I always heard the kids talking about Nick at Night, and they said that was cool watching like old shows late at night. And I eventually watched Nick at Night. I think first time I watched Nickelodeon was when Mom left. She lived in Erie. Maybe we watched some Nickelodeon at her place because they had like reruns of old Saturday Night Live, but they were like half-hour snippets, and also the old Superman show, which I loved. It was George Reeves, the old black and white Superman. And then in Germany, we had the Armed Forces Network, and it was just one channel, and it was like a combination of stuff from cable, the networks, and like PBS. And they showed some Nickelodeon stuff, like they showed Double Dare, which I liked. That's what I found about Mark Summers, and then he ended up doing Unwrapped, which I liked really well. We used to watch, me and my friends going, we used to watch Eureka's Cat. That's all they had, that one channel. So, I mean, if you saw it, you were able to see it, and you can't do it on television. That was kind of funny. We saw those shows. Sometimes that show got gross. You can't do it on television. And then, like, after that, I watched more Nick at Night. Could, try to watch the old, like, Saturday Night Live. They didn't have Nick at Night in Germany, but, I mean, when I got home. And then in Fort Bragg and Fort Detrick, we didn't have Nickelodeon or anything like that, We just saw Nick at Night on occasion. And then when I got out of the Army, for a while I wasn't working, and I watched, I'd watch, like, they had Double Dare again, and they have, like, shows like Guts. My dad always thought that was a gross name for a show, and also Nick Arcade, which I thought was a neat show. And I used to watch Nickelodeon, Nick at Night again. And then I remember they used to have Newhart on Nick at Night. And I loved watching. I watched all the Newhart episodes because I missed a whole bunch when it first came out because I didn't start watching it right away. You know, because it was originally shot on video and then it had like that film type look to it. I didn't see how it ended because it was, you know, I went in the army. I seen like some episodes of Newhart, but I never saw how it ended either. And I really enjoyed it. I saw every episode of Newhart from Nickelodeon. That was the only place that was showing Newhart. And then I don't watch Nickelodeon anymore. I haven't in a while. The last thing I really watched on Nickelodeon was they had a weird puppet show called Mr. Meaty. I watched that. And now Nickelodeon, that Nick at Night is just like stuff that they would show on regular shows like Roseanne and these other shows that you see anywhere else where they used to have like lesser known shows. Like my sister used to like watching Donna Reed and Dobie Gillis and Mr. Ed. I watched Mr. Ed before on there. That's my first time watching Mr. Ed. I miss seeing the George Reeves Superman. I love that show. So that's my history pretty much with Nickelodeon and a review of Nacho Libre and what Nickelodeon movies I've seen. So I hope you like this video, everybody. Until next time, please take care, my legion.